Hello everyone, welcome to our Accounting 210. In this video, I want to review Chapter 3, the My Accounting Lab, the problem assignment, and then the multiple choice quiz with you. I'm not going to do everything with you because that's your assignment. Let's look at some important part and say, give you some idea on these questions. So if you don't know how to get your e-textbook, make sure you go to your My Accounting Lab, you click the Pearson e-textbook, you will get the textbook from there. So I start from over, you got your e-textbook, and then you can find your chapter and the learning objective directly from your e-textbook. I personally think, I'm not a big fan of the, online version, but I think it's very convenient. You can, download this to your phone. You can read textbook when you wait for your girlfriend, boyfriend, family, pets or something. So you go to your menu, you can find your chapter there. We are looking at the chapter 3, the learning objective, journal entry, those parts. You can also do the note. You can also have your study. They also give you all the flashcard or whatever, everything there from the textbook. So from your textbook, as I say, the handout and the PowerPoint, they just give you a very brief guideline. You have to read the textbook. You have to read it by yourself to get the details and get all the meat so that you can have a better understanding on the chapter. You cannot expect to know everything just by watching my video or watching the My Accounting Lab video or watching YouTube video. You have to read textbook, get your pen ready, get your piece of paper ready, and do it by yourself, okay? Watching is always easy. Watching other people do it every time when I was a student. I look at the professor doing things on Blackboard, I feel, oh my goodness, so easy. And then when I do it by myself, it never 100% correct. Either I miss here or I missed there. So you have to do it by yourself. I hope you can be better than me, okay? So now let's look at our assignment, chapter 3. We look at this special assignment first. I'll just look at the preview. We look at the question. Just one big problem, 15 points. And then you can see this part is related with journal entry. The first one said you got the material, right? We talk about this on account. So you have debit, raw material, it will give you all the choices. You just need to click it, credit this. One thing I do not like My Accounting Lab is you have to follow their format, okay? I personally, that's the part I don't like, especially for journal entry or for some calculation, because my philosophy is if students, they understand the logic, they should get their partial credit at least. Or here, like if you put a raw material inventory, if it's not because of Marketing Lab, you can just put a material inventory instead of raw material inventory. But now it's standardized, right? You don't have other choice. I'm saying sorry if you do not like this specific format. That's ideally, I want you to handwrite the question so I can grade it and put my notes there, but we use online format. So you have to follow textbook. Good thing is this assignment goes with your textbook. That's why I first show your textbook. So the format, purchase raw, you can read this, raw material inventory account payable. So your assignment has exactly the same, has it raw material, and then you have account payable. My suggestion is read your textbook, get the logic, but also follow their format for your My Accounting Lab question. So you can get 4 points. I don't want you to lose points because you didn't follow the format. So if they put a comma here, I personally would suggest you do exactly the same as your textbook shows. Okay, that's my suggestion. And the next one said you use the material, and you use the material. Look at this one. You use the material, and 146 is on a specific job. Okay, 146,000 on a specific job. The other part, so 146 will go to work in process. Okay, so this one is a good one. I want to stop here, kind of give you some idea. It said out of this, after you totally spend this much money, and then out of, so your totally, you used 182,000. Okay, so your totally, so you, this is debit, this is credit. I have to make sure my tables are here. Okay, so let's go to the first page. I credit my direct material or raw material inventory, right? Because you used them. So I credit my raw material inventory 182,000. 140,000 went to specific job. What should we do? Went to specific job. So we have a work in process 146,000. Now your debit 146, your credit is 182,000. It's not balanced. What should we do? We still have indirect material. So it goes to manufacturing overhead. This is the indirect material. And how much will be 36,000? I think this is a good one. This is a good one. Make sure you know this one. Make sure you get this one. You use the raw material inventory. Part is direct material. Oh, sorry, I put it wrong. It's not direct labor. It's the direct material, right? So part is the direct material. If it's direct material, it goes to our specific job. So we go to work in process. Part is indirect material. So we go to our manufacturing overhead. We go to our manufacturing overhead. Let's look at the next one. Manufacturing labor and salary for this, the total 200,000 of the total manufacturing salary were traced to specific job, and the others are indirect labor. Okay, very similar, very similar. So next one, what should we do is we totally had this wage payable, right? So we totally have this wage payable. Because it hasn't paid, so we have this wage payable. I don't really know the specific account. You have to look at the question there, but totally is 240,000, and 200,000 is directly traced to specific jobs. Okay, so 200,000 will be our work in process direct labor. We can trace this 200,000 to a specific job, so that will be working process. You said, how about the other 40,000? We still have 40,000. Debit has to equal credit. So what is 40,000? This is indirect labor. And what do we do? Remember, our indirect labor goes to our manufacturing overhead first. When it incurs and when we assign it, it goes to our working process. So very good example, direct labor, indirect labor, direct material, indirect material. Next one, let's look at the next one. Company record this depreciation on the plant, and then this company also received the plant utility, which will be paid later, record this journal entry. Okay, so what's this? These are all the manufacturing overhead, right? This is all manufacturing overhead. You have this depreciation expense, and then you also have this utility, so you have to debit your manufacturing overhead. Part is your depreciation expense, 18,000, and then you have this manufacturing overhead, utility expense. How much? I don't see the number. 14,000. So you have this 14,000. Remember, I said for depreciation, you don't have a depreciation payable. Instead, you have a control account called what? Accumulated depreciation, right? Accumulated depreciation, 18,000. And then for the utility, you just have this utility payable, which is 14,000, Okay, next one, almost last one. 102,000 manufacturing overhead was allocated, right? Allocated. How do we do journal entry when we allocate it? We said when you allocate, we now know it goes to that specific job. So our working process will increase by 102,000. And our manufacturing overhead, when we allocate, we get water out from that swimming pool. So we credit 102,000. Okay. Next one, by the end of the year, will be under allocated or over allocated. Okay, under allocated or over allocated. So how do we do this one? How do we do this one? You tell me. I have no idea. Let's look at this one. How do we decide manufacturing overhead, actual, and then it's asking about the allocated. So let's look at this one. As I say, manufacturing overhead is not scary, right? Basically, it's just an account. So we have a manufacturing overhead. We said when it incurs, we debit. So this is your actual, and your right side is your allocation, right? Your allocation, allocated. So let's look at our debit manufacturing overhead is totally how much. We have this one, 36,000, okay? And then we have 40,000, 36,000, 40,000, 18, 14, 36, okay? 36, 40, and then 18, 14, okay? 18,000, 14,000. I don't know how much. I don't know really. I need to use calculator. Give me 1 second. Okay, I need to use my phone calculator. 36 plus 40 plus 18 plus 14 equals to 108. Sorry, it's not that clear. I thought it's 140. Okay, so 14. So this is total is 108,000, right? 108,000. Our credit side, when we allocated, is credit side is 102,000. Everybody says, everybody knows how do I get this number? 102,000, right? So this is credit. I have credit 102,000. My debit is 108,000. My credit is 102,000. So your actual is 108,000. Your allocated is 102,000. You under allocate or you over allocate. I leave this question to yourself. And then you want this temporary account to be 0. So what journal entry you have to do? I leave this one to you. Make sure you get the right answer. Okay, make sure you get this right answer. Okay, so I think I'll stop here for the assignment for the big problem. Let's look at our multiple choice. Let's look at our multiple choice. So I also just go through the basic some questions with you. I'm not going to give you the all the answers, right? 15 questions, and then you have these 27 points. So let's look at this one. Journal entry to assign direct labor and indirect labor. Okay, so now you should know, right? Direct labor, how do you do? Indirect labor, how do you do? Direct labor, indirect labor. I'm not going to repeat it. Next one, actual manufacturing overhead is always, you know, right? You know, actual, you always, I'm not saying the word, but debit, right there. Next one, you have this, what's the journal entry to have the incurrence of a direct labor. When you have a direct labor, what will happen? When you have a direct labor, what will happen? I'm not going to say too much. Direct labor, what will happen? Next one, to determine the rate. Okay, to get your predetermined manufacturing overhead rate, how do you get your predetermined manufacturing overhead rate? We said to get your predetermined manufacturing rate, it is basically your estimated manufacturing overhead divided by your estimated the cost driver, right? Cost driver. So this question said you have a estimated is this much, okay? You do not need to know the actual. You don't need to know the actual. You just need to know estimated. You also have this estimated machine hour. The question said you allocate overhead based on machine hour. Remember, I said the question will tell you what is cost driver. For this one, machine hour is cost driver. So you have your estimated total manufacturing overhead. You have your estimated cost driver. you get the answer. When you do the rate, you use your estimated. Okay, when you do the rate, you get the estimated. But when you do your adjusting journal entry, you use your actual and you use your allocated. You never use your estimated manufacturing overhead. You never use your estimated manufacturing overhead in the adjusting journal entry. You use the estimated manufacturing overhead when you do the rate. Okay, next one, I'm not going to say true or false. I say, what's the total manufacturing cost? Total manufacturing cost, how did we say? It equals to your direct material plus direct labor plus your allocated manufacturing overhead, right? So it tells you customer cost on the following data is based on this direct material, and then you have direct labor, you know, the rate is $30 per hour to use this. Machine hour, you know, predetermined is for machine hour, predetermined is based on machine hour. So you have the rate, you have the actual machine hour. I'm not going to tell you the answer, but we did a practice together. And these ones are, this cost is this, the entry to sale of our product. We said that when you sell it, what should you do? You record your revenue, and then you have account receivable. You also, you know, decrease your finished goods, you increase your cost of goods sold. So you do this by yourself. We did this in the handout video. Remember, we did this one. Next one, actual manufacturing overhead allocated is this much, right? Your actual is 20,200. You only allocated 18,500. So what should you do? What should you do? We talked this in the last part of the handout video, okay? Next one, I'm not going to say too much. Depreciation, you know, factory equipment. Remember factory equipment, this is manufacturing overhead, right? Allocated is always recorded. You should know this one. True or false, you should know this one. Job order, you should know this one, the first one. Next one, which of the following record the requisition of direct material and 6,100 of indirect material. So now you have direct material and indirect material. What you should do? How do we separate those two things? Make sure you check your note. Issue 680 direct material and indirect material. You should know this one. They have different journal entries. Last one. Allocate manufacturing on the direct labor hour. Okay, so you have based on direct labor hour, the manufacturing overhead for this year would be, you estimate manufacturing overhead is this, and 28,000 direct labor hour work. The actual results, you have actual this, and then, okay, so this one asking you whether you over allocate manufacturing overhead or under allocate. Keyword, you have to get the actual. It told you actual is here. You have to get allocation. How do you allocate, right? The rate, you have to get the rate. You have to first get the rate, and you use the rate time your actual cost driver. You get your allocated manufacturing overhead. You compare your actual with your allocated manufacturing overhead. You will get the under allocation or over allocation. Okay, I think I stop here. Not easy, you know, some problems are not easy, it takes a while to think about. So let me know if you have any question. Thank you, I'll see you next time.